Hey guys!
Hey.
We should have recorded ourselves trying to record the intro.
It was funny.
It took 5 tries. Because I said 90.
90.
It's episode 90.
Episode 90.
So, welcome to episode 90. Okay, friends, welcome back.
Welcome back. Today we're going to talk to you about compliment, not compare. And that may sound weird, but we'll explain.
Yes. So, first, before we do it, I'm going to remind you guys to give us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
You know we love you. Pretty sure you love us back. So we're trying to hit 250 reviews this year, and we're asking for your help for 250 5-star reviews. Let's be specific. Like, we do not want 250 1-star reviews.
No, not really.
So this week we are sharing a review from Mama Bear 784. And she says, I have loved these podcasts. They are very encouraging and feels like I'm able to listen in on a conversation between 2 seasoned homeschool moms and glean wisdom from them. She then goes on to ask about us doing an episode about Well-Educated Heart, which we totally did. So you're welcome.
Yep.
I'm just getting into it and would love to hear each of your thoughts and how it has impacted the way you homeschool your families. So thank you, Mama Bear. And just a reminder, that's a great way to get a topic talked about that you wanted. You asked and we delivered. So
yeah, we've done that in the past too. There have been a lot of requests via your reviews. We're always happy to do that because
this is for you.
That's what it's for, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that 5-star review, and go ahead and let's start blowing those reviews out of the water. Okay, we're talking about comparison.
Yes.
Compliment, not compare.
Yes. Have you guys ever felt like you're not good at homeschooling?
No, never.
Never? Yeah.
Just kidding.
Or maybe you're scrolling Instagram and there's all those cute homeschool Instagrammers that you follow, like us.
I don't ever do pictures of us actually homeschooling.
I just do cute activities that I do. And so it looks like I do all the cool things all the time, but it's not true. So
yes, I think I talked about this, that my homeschool is not a Pinterest board. And so, yes, I could stage a camera.
I'm going to stay quiet on that one.
Yeah. But no, but you're not, I don't think you are presenting it like you are sitting there with your children.
No. But those are the ones that get me. There's these beautiful Instagrammers. And not to diss on them, because they're gorgeous and they're talented. And the moms are beautiful and the kids are beautiful and their room is beautiful and the chalkboard has drawings on it or the books are laid out perfectly in order and in themes. And so sometimes I scroll through and I look at those and I'm like, oh, I am so bad at this. Look how beautiful theirs is. And it's silly. It's silly that I feel that way. But have you guys felt that way? I'm sure that you've all felt that. Or maybe, hopefully it's not just me.
Half the time we do school, I am in my mom outfit, which is sweats,
stretchy pants,
and a sweater because I told my kids a sweater
slippers.
It's just wearing a hug. I love sweaters. My beautiful children, I allow them to dress and get ready on their own, so they look like children who are allowed to dress,
who are homeschooled.
Sorry. And my house, we totally clean it every day, but
at the end of the day,
well, we do the morning.
We do more at the end of the day. But
it looks lived in.
It's if people stop by in the middle of our homeschool day, I'm always a little embarrassed because I'm like, oh, they caught us in the middle of our chaos and mess, because there's piles of books and there's projects and there's things going on, and it's always just a little extra messy.
More posts about
the mess that's happening.
This is what it looks like.
I visited a friend of ours the other day. She's in our homeschool group. I'll tell you later who.
Okay.
But I stopped by in the middle of a school day. And she's like, come on in. And I stepped into her living room and there was stuff everywhere, stuff. But it wasn't clutter. It was homeschool stuff. Mm-hmm. They had this map spread across the floor that they were working on. And they had schedules on the walls. And they had just all these things. And I was looking around. I'd never been in her house before, but I was looking around. And she didn't apologize, which the first thing I loved. Most people are like, I'm so sorry you caught us in our mess. She didn't even apologize. Her kids just kept on going with what they were doing. And I was kind of just looking around and noticing the different things going on. And it was all just beautiful educational stuff. Mm-hmm. And it just looked like a disaster in the moment. But I'm like, oh, I love what's going on there. Oh, I love seeing this. And, it was so crazy and chaotic. And she has a big family. And so it was interesting for me to see that and to see, I felt no horror at seeing it. You know, sometimes you walk into someone's house and you're like, oh my. You know, I don't ever think that because I'm not the best of housekeepers, I'll be honest. My house is always kind of a little messy because my kids are always there. But anyway, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like disgusted by her mess. I felt more of like, oh, I relate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that I'm not the only one that in the middle of our day, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just want you guys to know that, like, if you feel those things, if you feel like your house isn't clean enough, your homeschool's not pretty enough, you're not doing enough things, your language arts isn't the right one, whatever it is.
Welcome to the club.
We all feel that, and we all need to just stop it. Right?
Yes. Well, I've always wondered too, on some of the Instagram pictures, like, somebody's taking a picture of you doing school is the most staged thing I can think of.
Oh, of course they're staged, because the kids are never sitting there perfectly poised.
Like, well, my kids will sit around, right? Like,
sure,
we're doing tea time and poetry and whatnot, but it's like, hold up, let me set up a camera here, or like have somebody take a picture of me. And so I just think, unless you've hired a photographer to naturally walk around and take candid photos of you, like, just know there was a lot of staging to create a beautiful, perfect picture.
And it's not just all about the Instagram feed, because I'm there. I do it too. I scrape off my mess and take a picture with a white background. I do it. And so know that when my pictures come up, often I had to push a pile aside to get that clean picture.
Mine are just used professional pictures that we like went and all got ready at the same time. I'm like, there, we're done. Like, I'll just keep cycling these through.
So anyway,
okay, let's get back to comparison.
Yes.
Roosevelt, the President Roosevelt said, comparison is the thief of joy. Mark Twain said, comparison is the death of joy. Bottom line, comparison does not bring joy.
No, it doesn't.
So I love this. So I was thinking, like, why do we compare, right? So this is, and I don't know who Jordan Harbinger is, but I liked what
from the Harbinger Institute. They write the books. Maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I liked what he said. And he's actually sharing something from Festinger, who is a psychologist. And this was, I wanted to say it's from like the 50s or something. Basically said that people evaluate their opinions and abilities by comparing themselves to other people for two reasons. First, to reduce uncertainty in the areas which they're comparing themselves, and second, to learn how to define themselves. So the first one is to reduce uncertainty. So I think of this in coaching. I get asked, is this normal? Is this okay? Is it okay to do this? Is it okay? Like, so if you think about this, if we compare homeschool to public school, then people are freaking out because it does not look the same. Mm-hmm. Like, my kid built a fort for 2 hours today. Is that okay? Am I failing my child by, like, they didn't sit and read a book all day, or they weren't in a classroom, right? So there's that comparison of, like, to define what is normal.
What is school supposed to look like?
Like, what is socially acceptable? What does failing your kid look like? Mm-hmm. What does being awesome look like, right? So I'm going to compare what other people are doing.
Well, and we all have different ideas of what that's supposed to look like anyway. And so sometimes you just need to change your idea of what good is, right?
So the second reason they found that people compare is to define themselves. So you find somebody kind of like you. So Karin and I are around the same age. We have a bunch of children. We both homeschool. So then you'd find somebody like that and start
She has double the amount of children as me, and is so much better at it. See?
Oh, yeah, beat yourself up. I was like, I almost do have
just
double
about.
your children, right? But, like, you could continue down this vicious
cycle?
Yeah, sure.
Is that the word?
Yeah, sounds good. Like, here's what Karin's doing right. Oh, man, like, Karin does the cutest printables and all these amazing things. And I'm like, let's drink tea with British accents and, like, be schmucks, right? But then somebody else is like, oh, Meg is so fun.
I think that often.
She's dancing on the tables. Like... She's playing cards and, like, doing all these games or, like, whatever. Like, we do that because then we're like, it's that same idea of, like, what am I doing? Is it right? Is it okay? And I like the example they actually used was a runner. And so, like, regular Joe runner, we don't compare ourselves to Usain Bolt, right? Because we're like, that's so out of our league, we're not even going to get there. But when you find somebody like you, it's like, well, how do I measure up?
Well, we're about the same age. Well, you can run farther than me, so why shouldn't I be able to run as far as you?
Like,
as quickly as you?
I have less kids. I should be able to run further.
Right?
I should do this, right? Like, I have more drivers, so I should put more kids in more activities.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so by comparing ourselves, it does a lot of that should or shouldn't. And I love this. You shouldn't should on yourself. Should. SHOU.
She's not swearing. Still clean lyrics.
Yeah. Right? Because it's interesting. You only have so much energy in the daytime. So like you can totally put that energy into like Karen's doing this. Oh, she's so amazing. Karen's business, which is funny because Karen's done it so much longer than I have. Like imagine comparing that. Like Karen homeschools and has a business. I homeschool and have a business. Why isn't my business as big as Karen's? Like, oh, what is she doing? I do it so wrong, right?
You don't do it wrong. You do it different.
Right?
I've been doing it 10 years longer.
Like, but it's
and I do the same thing though to other people that are in my field too, where I'm like, whoa, they've grown so much more quickly than I have. And I do the same thing within my own business and within, you know, I already talked about homeschooling, but it's a constant battle that we all have to deal with in our lives. And I think it's something we all need to try and just contain, or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Stop.
Yes. Well, I think that there's a flip because
control. There it is.
You have the energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can put the energy into beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Or you can put the energy into complimenting yourself.
Yes. And that's the switch here that we want to talk about is instead of constantly comparing, we want you guys to instead...
Nope, not me. I want you to keep comparing. No, just kidding.
Find the good that you have and that you're doing because we're all doing it and we all have it, you know, and we all have great things that we're doing, special things that we're doing, gifts and talents that we're blessed with that are unique to us. I am really different than her, but so
beautiful with what you have to offer.
Yeah. You know, I was talking about this with marriage. So often you marry somebody that's pretty different than you and you have like really... I laugh
because I totally did.
Well, and I did too. My husband and I are so different in so many ways, but it beautifully complements. Yeah. And his strengths help where I'm weak. Mm-hmm. And so very often that's what we need to look at is what are my strengths and what am I good at? And I need to like take some time and write those down. Okay, what are my strengths? What are my talents? What do I know a lot about? And how can that bless my family in my own special way?
Yes, and I don't think the pendulum needs to swing so like, oh, I'm so terrible to I'm better than everybody else.
No, of course not.
But it's like, okay, here I have this good friend Karen. I'm going to acknowledge her strengths. Mm-hmm. Like her stuff is amazing. And I talk to you guys all the time that I really love her stuff on her site. Like I legit use it, right? Like, but just being, that is so cool that Karen can create that. And we've talked to that, like, you're steady. Mm-hmm. You're consistent.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like,
not this year so much, but yes, typically.
No, but like you still consistently do stuff.
Yes.
You're very steady. There's a calm to Karen, right? Karen has, like, when we want to name things, I always wanted like silly names and giggly names.
What was the podcast you wanted to name us?
Homeschool Hotties.
Homeschool Hotties. Aren't you guys glad?
You sing, Karen? Yeah.
I mean, don't you guys wish that was what we called ourselves? I'm sorry.
But like Karen totally gets that. If ever it's a weird, goofy name, you know who named it. And if it's ever like this makes sense, like
compliment, not compare.
No, but I'm saying I'm gonna tell you your good gifts, right? And so like acknowledge Karen's beautiful gifts, and then acknowledge my beautiful gifts, like what I bring to the table. My homeschool isn't supposed to look like anybody else's homeschool. Because I am not like anybody else.
And same with our parenting abilities and, you know, our talents and our gifts. Each of those are going to be so different. And they should be. And that's what's so beautiful about this world that we live in is that each of us brings what we have to the table and it makes it all so special.
Yes. When you think about that, like the trees out there, I have this paper bark maple is my favorite tree out there. It is so beautiful. But like, can you imagine if I sat there and like, well, that oak is stupid. Like, let me tell you why that oak is the worst. Like, even though I love this paper bark maple, it's so unique and it's so different. Like, it has so many beautiful things about it, but like that oak is powerful and strong and my kids can climb in it and do all these fun things. Then we have sycamores and like these sycamores bring so much shade to my yard and they are the best climbing trees, right? And then we have pines and they bring whatever they bring, you know what I mean? And like you can go through all these things. And their beauty and their variety and the different things that they have is what makes my yard so awesome. Yeah. And so unique and so beautiful. Yeah. And so being able to take that, like acknowledging somebody else's gifts and talents and seeing the beauty and then acknowledging it within yourself,
Mm-hmm.
complimenting them and complimenting yourself.
Yeah.
Not comparing, because a lot of times when you compare, it's like, well, Karen doesn't do this, right? Like, because then you're like, you don't want to feel so bad about yourself. Well, can't you do this? You know what I mean? Like, you know. That
Yeah. Well, I remember early on when you first started your website.
Yeah.
You kept trying to do the things like I did. Like you tried to create a couple of printables and to do activities and things. And then there was a moment where you were like, this isn't me.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, this is what I am and this is what I do. And I remember that because I really liked that. I was like, I think it's awesome that you're recognizing like these are my strengths and those are your strengths. And I don't have to be like you to succeed. And I just loved that. And I think what you do is so beautiful and just right for you and your personality and your skill set, and that you're helping people in so many beautiful ways too.
But I think it honors both of our, like, who we are and our talents, right? Like, sure, could I make some printables? Yeah, but I also like hated doing it super bad, right? And like wanted to say naughty words. And like, I just didn't like it. But ask me to do anything with parenting and with homeschooling and creating stuff, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And can we talk about it all night? Like,
yeah.
But I think, like, I want to end with, this is from Jordan B. Peterson, and he talks about in his 12 Rules for Life, but compare yourself to who you were yesterday instead of who someone else is today.
Yes, I always love that.
Yeah. Am I a little bit better today than I was yesterday? Instead of, and we laugh about this too, because with being entrepreneurs, my husband and whatnot, people don't see the hard work that went into it.
Right.
So they're like, oh, it just magically happened that this company is just doing really well. And he's like, yes. Magic. It's not 20 years of hard work, of frustration and failures and all this stuff, right? And so when we compare, we almost discredit their journey. Like, so Karen's business, like, is awesome. But to say, like, oh, she's so lucky, she just got this, discredits all the hard work you have done.
Right.
Like, all the effort, all the sleepless nights, all the tears, all the, like, frustrations, everything. It discredits that, instead of being able to just say, like, Karen is amazing that she persevered when the crap hit the fan and it was hard.
Yeah.
And I'm amazing that, like, I'm going to keep going and be a little bit better than I was yesterday. So we want to challenge you guys to let go of that comparison and switch it for complimenting the other people you see, and complimenting yourself and seeing your own beauty and your own gifts.
Definitely. Thanks for tuning in today. Have a great week.
Yes, and don't forget to go give us a review, and we'll give you virtual hugs and kisses.
Yes.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.